positions on both sides. Got the Yorick, I think, is kind of the fly in the ointment for AL versus what would otherwise be a really big pick comp. BLG, it's Ari Vi, it's Senna and Rumble over the that dragon started. Takes a little while there, but not going to be taking too much damage. Again, the clone does help a little bit with drawing that dragon aggro. Mid lane, Knight, and gone in and put a ward down into the enemy jungle to help spot out potential Wukong angles. A little bit wary now with the stun ready and
lane management actually to make sure that hoping Kyle can't just kind of chase them down the extended lane in the way that well often can go for a Magnet Storm here. On no ult for now.
Does now flash away. Burns that extra summoner. Tarzan now going to try and fight for these control wards and reduce. That's a lot of wards in that bush, my days.
Spotted all three of them. Kyle, he doesn't have his flash roll now.
Cyclone on now in danger. He's going to get hit by the curtain call, you'd imagine. His body blocked well. Tarzan flashing for the crushing blow, gets it. Now trying to turn it around. Is Kyle in danger, but he also has an Annie around him. Makes it a lot more tricky as base run goes down as well. That was way too far, BLG.
Yeah, it was way too far. Didn't expect everyone to be roaming down, and Knight didn't have his ultimate clone. The big difference there, sadly for him. Of course, the player that came in subbed in late into the split. BLG starting Dragon now. Shanks, he has flash. He might have to Toreador this. Matador it though.
Trying to find a moment. Flashes, but there's Pulverize Charm, still armed and dangerous, stunned into the wall there. Does go down. Ari picks that one, couple stacks of Dark Seal. Base right now potentially in a little bit of danger, but they don't really have the burst to do much more than
gets the second one close towards his Malignance now. Can go back, teleport back in with the Malignance for the next fight.
Slightly more tame laning phase, at least in the early stage now. Up in CS, got that Goldie, the early kill, gets some play, good start. Which have now fallen. Heal burned by on there. Deadly Flourish lands, maybe forced to make his will unbreakable briefly. Goes to call, flashes the Magnet Storm, not the best angle, but on's about to have his ult run out, and that can make things tricky. Pulverize, turnaround, Dawning Shadow comes up through. Kyle has gone very deep, stuck into the backline, goes base, going to find some starter, who got charmed up, finally begins to run away. Kyle has survived. In comes the equalizer from Bim, piercing darkness, will keep the side of base one alive, and now Bin has to flash out to safety, but not before the shots come on through. The pandas are everywhere. Anyone's legend with the lore-appropriate skin, bring down the cow as well. Deadly Flourish comes on down, and anyone's legend come away with two.
On gets hit by everything. They weren't looking for that fight. We were just saying Knight, he has the item on base. He didn't have it right there. On getting hit. Elfin ship actually really important. That should allow him to push and roam a lot more effectively. Get to instant clear waves and be much more of a threat on the map. So anyone's legend, not going to be able to win that tug of war in mid lane as much.
And then again, it's a mid-game overfight from BLG that's put them in a bit of an awkward position. Pretty much every game at the moment.
Teleport in from Ari down to the bot side of the map to clear away
Shanks on the flank.
From the Yorick. Shanks is on the flank. He does have flash.
Oh, it's going to be in danger. Has got the cleanse, flashed away. Curse the Black Mist does help keep him alive, but has to burn double summon.
Yes, keeps himself alive. Does that open up anything else? Because Flandre also teleported towards bot side. It was matched by Ari, as we were saying. This does mean that Rumble gets to spend some time on top side turret. And does have the 3 grubs. Knight could potentially look for a bit of an ult hit just to try and clear out. But I mean, AL did walk up with the Yorick, and they just take the tower.
Tarzan can start stepping on forwards, doing a lot of good work here in the mid game. Anyone's legend probably would have been PLG on a really good tear right now. Remember, AL have been one of our more consistent macro teams, especially when Kyle and Tarzan are ahead of the curve. They are right now.
They lost the 2 kills with Bin teleported in towards that. BLG did take that turret on top side. Feats of strength were claimed by AL because they did get that first turret in the bot lane a while before this. AL don't have great vision here. Flounder on bot side, Kyle coming in to defend. Good chunk there from base 1.
Tarzan's here as well. This makes it a bit more interesting. Where's the rest of the squad? Hope stepping up mid lane. He won't be here. He's enjoying with the curtain 3 grubs down. Is it coming? Under they go with the Magnet Storm trying to take the turret. Will do so. Elf trying to run away. Has so many grubs on top. Throws out the Dawning Shadow. Buys a lot of time. They will pick up the Yorick. Now beginning to turn it around. Backline goes base. That equalizer is okay. Not fantastic. Doesn't mean that Tarzan can't stick around though. Forced to flash. As Knight went looking for a Deadly Flourish now opened. And here comes the potential rebuttal. Then body block, 4th shot available still. Lands onto Knight, who is the highest health bar member, so is largely okay. Lots of ults burned, lots of flashes burned, but the kill in the turret is BLG's.
Vision control now being contested for bot side of the map. Dragon spawning soon. Blue buff getting. Hang on a second. Shanks does have flash and ultimate, and that stun loaded up. BLG, they do not want to walk towards close. Fog of War. Knight looking towards a charm. Or maybe he could be on vision there. Just want to see if there's a crash down.
Trying to see if he can play around his wave a little bit. Can't step forward to get that Soul. It zoned off a little bit. Oh, did someone pick that up? You can see outside. I want to pick it up. There's two there. Just too far up to contest.
Beitron now going towards topside. BLG choosing not to contest. Flandre is now overpushed. He needs to teleport away, which is indeed what he's going to do. But the teleport does mean that Dragon rather is going to be secured by Enemies Legend. And they can go towards the Atacon after. You're absolutely right. Beitron is going to be going down. Dragon will die. I don't think AL can rush Atacon before BLG gets here. Bin can teleport down. Has his ultimate back up. Remember, this is why you often throw the game, because you get shredded by this objective. Where's the Bin teleport? It needs to come in soon.
Holding his line, waiting in the river.
Where's the teleport bin? Where's the teleport?
He's finally teleporting down towards the spot side, waiting for a good angle. It's gone.
Too late. Way too late.
Now they're going to finally turn up when Imber Beitron in the backline is in danger. The equalizer is all right, but it's here far too late. Hope will cleanse and flash away. Stays alive. Bin now split off, getting a lot of damage onto Shank. But Elk not really doing anything right now. He's dealing with Grub. They're having to have Wukong head on forward and blow up that Rumble. Should be able to back away with the Atacon, the draw point, and an extra kill.
Bin's teleports have sucked this game. Both
Flash away from Shanks. He did well himself. Elk, sadly for himself, not been able to really be, the one. Ooh, Kyle does have Flash. Must be cool to use it.
He's going to be forced to go. But there's the last Blade trying to turn this around now as Tarzan goes in and potentially goes inside. So Knight wide with that charm. As On now left out to dry a little bit because the charm didn't land. That's problematic. But Knight gets away. So On gets away with the Unbreakable Will. Trying to put down the curtain ball. Get some angles here. Knight. That side does have the flash, but needs to use it right now.
So the Jhin has the upgraded swiftness boots, has fleet footwork, and the Ghost Blade running. You can't expect someone to land the ultimate onto them, especially the Zeal extra movement speed there. Jhin, one of the harder champions to land. Dragon, the timer ticks closer towards that Ocean Soul. BLG haven't found an answer yet.
To Kyle, actually, he's done a really good job of A, surviving, and B, finding some very good engages. Credit is absolutely due to him. Though, two-manning this Baron and doing it well. They've sold it well.
I mean, it's still under a minute till the Dragon. They could take the Baron, but they would still lose the Soul. They'd have to take this and then somehow also get down to the Dragon. This will be Baron, but will they also be able to stop Soul?
Try and do it. I'll try and rush this. Maybe they're okay to get the curtains are getting called there.
Tarzan
going to try and get over this. Going to be secured by the smite. Needs to back away now. Full shot lands onto Elf. On trying to body block, buy as much space as he can. Doesn't have flash, but does a decent amount to get the double ball right. Lie over the angle. Tarzan throws his own ult, buys some space. In they go, Beitron dead, and Tarzan turns around the equalizer in the choke point. Forces the flash though. Flandre looking for a morning mist. Doesn't land it.
2 dead for BLG. They take a fight, which they really should have, again, just left their supports to die. Anyone's Legend will deny 2 of the Baron buffs and also get back in time to contest towards this Dragon. I think they could have left their Alistair to die, regroup, and try and fight around the Soul. Mistake there again from BLG, particularly Beitron having a difficult time. Once again, ulting the clone in the team fight. He's done that 2 or 3 times, left at the whims of individual performance. Beitron, a player which, just tries to play a role within this team at points, and I think largely he's done well at that. You can see right here, he is up against Tarzan, who is one of the very best junglers in our league. Kyle hasn't got flash just yet. But Elk, what are you doing?
BLG trying to play a little hard here with the potential shove on Baron. They lose an extra medic on the TP. Knight now in an awful position as well. And BLG, they sometimes do this, folks. When it's gone wrong, it goes really wrong.
Hang on. I think everyone but Knight will do this. Knight is saying, going like, Elk, my dude, you're one of our few remaining Baron buffs. Why are you walking up like that 2v4 in mid lane? BLG losing their minds around this.
Yeah, there's been some perplexing macro calls, from awkward TP starts to awkward TP spots, over shoves and overstays, and BLG fully committing to fights they never should have, and Anyone's Legend have gratefully received all of them. They played a stable, calm game that has gotten solid leads from the early game, and punishing BLG's over-eagerness to fight.
Yeah, no, BLG individual performances really struggling across the board. Knight, the only player to have jungle support diff. We thought it might come through for Anyone's Legend, but I thought that the solo lane diff and the carry diff would come through for BLG, and it's just not happened.
Kicked off here a little bit, tries to go into the middle, not getting out in the easy way, but just trying to get in the backside. Does manage to get a decent ult there on the hook. Just no follow-up. Where's the equalizer? Where's the rest of the squad? Been not quite in range. On finally goes. No, the equalizer sucks. That is just not good.
The follow-up was there from Knight and from Elk, but it wasn't from the equalizer. So there was some follow-up, but you need the equalizer to be there. Hope manages to survive again. Elk will go down. Anyone's Legend, a dominant game 1, punishing mistake after mistake from BLG. This is a team that 3-0'd their opponents to get towards this point, yet to lose a game in playoffs. Thought they'd be a shoo-in for MSI, honestly, before this game. Elk gets hit by another route. He'll go down, and that'll be the game.
And some of the issues we saw in the regular season when BLG was still figuring out how to be a team again. Their ability to overplay in mid-game when someone
Bring to that Ornn lane, just throw everything down into that Jace, get Bin ahead onto a comfort champion as opposed to the Rumble, which is more like a consolation. Oh, I'll learn it because... Waiting to see when Beige1 can get involved in the game. Onn is off vision here.
Yeah, it gets interesting, but it's still pull the force one. I think BLG thought they were safer than they were. Trying to turn now onto Shanks to flash away the gravity field. Will prevent On from getting over. Beige1 will flash away to get a bit of a heal there from the Scuttle Crab. Bin now joining. Has got the ability to look for something more. Flash for the staggering blows onto Shanks. Still trying to survive. Flandre body blocking, but he gets knocked back by the flash thundering blows. Good work from Bin.
Oh,
Shot
nice!
back as Tarzan potentially in danger. Beige1 turns up with the Grand Starfall, and they end up getting a 2-for-1.
Really good skirmish play by BLG to
get a second grub here.
Awesome to know that Tarzan actually doesn't have his second level of his Smite. Smite still available for Beige1. Flank coming through, but Knight spots out Kyle.
A little bit careful. Doesn't have a level 6 flash for the Grand Entrance. Goes across the Unraveled Earth. The Keeper's Verdict knocks the Nautilus away. Elf beginning to run away from Beige1. No flash. Throws up the Aegis off, buying some time. Bullet time is solid, but it has to be cancelled because Kyle is coming on over. Potentially for some more work, and in the end, Beige1 does go down. The Keeper's Verdict enough to knock the Nautilus away and split the team.
Instead, though, 3 grubs to BLG. Knight doesn't have flash, could be a bit of an issue.
It's knocked up, potentially gets to walk away, trying to hold on for the stone surfing there. Should just about get out to safety.
Flandre might have just made a game-changing mistake here. Teleports in, goes towards that fight. They only get 1 kill. Wastes his ult in mid-wave and is given a 3 grub chase, 2 plates on bot side. A teleport in from Knight means that they can potentially even kill Flandre as it comes back to lane now as well. If Flandre looks for an all-in, Bin will kill him here, especially with Knight helping. Flandre, oh, this last minute or two has just not been it.
Oh, what a split back as well. Knight catches him mid-awkward. There's the Weavers. Well, he has no ability to charge on through it. And On fumbles hard. 5 to 10 minutes, and that should be scary, I fear, for anyone's legend.
Second objective likely to go down for BLG here. Is there any contesting from Poppy? Well, Poppy is around with ultimate. We'll see if there is a fight, actually.
Tagging blows from the dead line comes on down. Kyle gonna nearly die, but flash forwards the Comet Sphere, gets some value. Elk now in danger as he gets flash heroic charge into the wall. On, trying to run away. He needs to buy a bit of space. He's got the flash, the Titan's Wrath as well. Tries to turn it around, lands the hook, a flash away. Wonderful turnaround. Grand Starfall now to the backside as Hope needs to back away. Shunt away as Beige1 in danger. Does get a bit of a shield fall. Finally goes down, but Bin flashes to the skies to bring down Hope. And I think Beige1 will be okay about keeping them all interested.
Flandre has flash and ghost. I don't think he knows that Jace is coming up to him. Ghostblade coming up. He just used that W. Flandre could be in some big trouble, even with the summoners here.
Gets an auto into the W. It's a big turnaround. The Bellows Breath comes on down. Tries to get out of there, but to the skies we go. In they go, trying to buy time. Teleport comes on through. Bin now needs to think about running away. In comes Shanks. Looks for some more. Flandre just about survives. An important shutdown.
Okay, Flandre, really well played, knowing that Shanks can get there in time. I was pretty convinced he was going to... team is on the same page. This is how BLG have managed to grow as a team in this split. Even if we've seen some individual underperformances from Beige1, from On, from Bin, from whoever really, they're on the same page, and it means that they can play so much more aggressively.
Weaver's Wall looking for some more Tarzan. Rooted in place and split back with the seismic shove. It's looking like a 9 on the Richter scale. Knight will pick that one up. He's on a rampage.
He even picked himself up a Darksteel as well. Good on Unite. Of course he has done. Of course, last game couldn't make that work on the Ari. This time looking much better. Talia, one of his other best champions in the game. If I were to say, you know, what would Knight's top string of champions, of course the Ari's in there. But the Talia is very close to the top of the list too. Very, very good on this champion at playing around the global, playing around the follow-up CC he can add on to his teammates. First turret will fall on bot side. It's Elk that takes this one. He's having a good game too on the Misfortune. Dragon's coming up soon. It'll be second for BLG. Hook lands onto Cal, but not going to lead to that much.
I mean, all I'm saying is Vi was definitely a criminal in the last game, so, you know, that's fine. Not the greatest place. I hope it's a lot of damage before this play. Again, you're in Ezreal. I know you can play from range, but that's not a fun place to be in. 3 grubs and Herald charge. This mid-tier 1 is surely dead, right? And will be swiftly claimed by BLG. Anyone's Legend looking for potential pick as they head into the river, though. Won't be able to find anything.
Eventually, Anyone's Legend's composition is going to be very good around objectives, and typically against this terrain, with the wall being very good for Poppy around this kind of dragon fight, this is where they are strong, but I don't know whether they have the gold to fight right now. Here comes the All-Out.
Keeper's Verdict coming on through. Sentence hits in bottom one. On for Talia, can rejoin with the Weaver's Wall. Based on the back of it, BLG saw that bullet time is superb. Looking to win this one out as the Dragon was secured by Tarzan. Weaver's Wall about to come down. Eats a shot blast. Other side, big shot. Flash for the double of LPL. Psycho gets the one of the Rakan. Going to get some damage on, trying to flash on with the second blow to Shanks. Tarzan shield from that buckler. Giving some work based on the back of the pit. Buying so much time. Hope can't quite do it up till right at the end. Bin slowed down. Flash for the auto. And Bin finally gets it with that form change. Shanks now flashing on forward. Does get it with the Hex Tech Ray. It's a messy fight. Gravity Field buys some time. Looking to TP out. Should get out to safety.
Elk didn't want to walk up, even had the barrier. Surprised he didn't want to fight that more. Anyone's Legend take down 2 in the fight, but lose 4 of their own overall. At least they get that dragon. However,
out. It's a known quantity because of that ward, so Anyone's Legend are going to come and contest on a decent timer here. Flandre has got the call, the Forge got back. The Weaver's Wall, solid. Keeps Tarzan in there, looking for the Keeper's Verdict. Gets interrupted mid-jump though, and he dies. As Elk will pick it up, trying to back away as Kyle does burn out as it's picked up by Bait. One of the red buff, the bullet time comes on through and blows up Hope. He doesn't get to survive. Bin flashes on forwards again, finds some more value. Shanks now in the back of the Dragon Pit. Where do you go? There's no flash, and there's Victor. It's a glorious devolution. Back to Monkey we go.
BLG swing through the fight, cleanly get the objective, and this is an objective where they don't have the good terrain for Anyone's Legend. They can't find themselves a good fight. Wonderful Weaver's Wall to lock AL into that poor terrain for themselves. They'll get to walk away from this fight after taking another turret too, in the gold lead, which was, as you were saying, about 5,000, is almost double just before plus, and made this team into something special. They went from being, okay, middle of the pack, but very inconsistent, to a team that went to finals in spring, in MSI. Kyle's probably going to die, and they became a super team after that point.
Trying to turn that around. The Gravity Field afterwards, though. Nice punish, as the rest of BLG weren't quite there in time. A little bit over-eager on that pick. Well punished. Grand Starfall comes on through. Looking to punish. Aegis comes on through. The bullet time is not that fantastic, actually, as Kyle gets to jump on through. Baseman buys time onto Hope. Doesn't get that much value. They've lost Knight as well. That's 2 members dead.
Huge mistakes from BLG. We were just waxing lyrical about that rise to greatness. Tabe made them into the team that they were in 2023 when Knight joined them afterwards. Tabe is now on Anyone's Legend, become the strategist. Knight down, Bin forced out of the play. They do have decent damage, but this is the chance that AL's been waiting for.
The patented BLG overforce. Is this the moment where the game begins to flip? Anyone's Legend with lots of zone control. Remember the scaling, remember the ability to prevent people getting in, and dangerously low is Kyle. Needs to back on out. Hope over the back of the pit. Elk in danger. Has still got the flash and the barrier. Beginning to drain on out. They need to get off the Baron. They've lost 1 already. Shanks out. Another auto. This is all gone wrong. It's a full house. 3 for Elk and 2 for Bin.
BLG make a mistake, but Anyone's Legend do not get to capitalize. Elk and Bin were still alive despite Knight and On going down, and BLG just swing the wallet over the head and deck AL.
I'm not sure that's a wallet. That was the whole bloody bank fault. They've been squished Looney Tunes style. The safe with the 90 pounds on the side of it comes careening down from the heavens to flatten Anyone's Legend. You felt like there was a moment, but it was all for naught. It was swiftly snuffed out, and BLG strike back in game 2, Empire style.
BLG, a terrible game 1 for them on. First game, had a good matchup into Knight. Still fell behind, but did pretty well. Second game was blasted by Knight.
Yeah.
Knight's Talia
was the kinds of players they are. Remember, On is one of our better 1v1 players in the league. He's actually played a number of the 1v1s for Side Select and won the majority of them. He's always had that skill set too.
Baytron makes a mistake there.
Pillar. Going to be forced to back away as the Chomps to come on through. Flash for auto. I think Tarzan just gets it.
Baytron doesn't use the hop to get over the pillar. As soon as you see the bot lane, specifically, of course, Baytron dying, that is a problem. He should not have died there, as we were saying. All you have to do is not E early, and that's what he did. As soon as you see that E, you should know this guy is dead. There's a big problem there. But at least the Smolder's in a good spot.
Not pretty. At the very least, though, they do get the very early dragon here. 5 minutes, and this lead hasn't turned into something genuinely meaningful rather than a 300 gold lead, then there's more of an issue. Top side, bit of an engage onto Flandre. Rupture comes on down, slowed down by the smite. Flash on forward with a set of Dark Daggers. Decimating Smash is interrupted. Still look for the auto. Another Rupture. Phase 1 takes the aggro as Bin's going to try and get the last auto and does so.
They're not going to die on the way out. There are a couple of really good ruptures, but Cho'Gath, not the best versus the... Hang on, Knights.
Does get hit by that into the miasma. Wonderful angle. Petrifying Gaze means that Knight has nowhere to go at all.
Had the flash, didn't use it in the right way.
Less plates than BLG, pretty significantly. They got like 1, 2 in mid lane. They got 1 bot. That's not fantastic in the grand scheme of things. Sion there with an unstoppable onslaught, looking for an angle, lands it onto the Ashe, who body bolts it deliberately, but pulled back with the handshake. Needs to find a way to flash. There's the barrier. He's still trying to hold on. The hostile takeover comes through, but Knight's already there with a Realm Warp. Wonderful sequence of ultimates to make Hope's escape impossible.
Knight gets the kill, Summoner's lost from Hope, and the ultimate blown too. That is a huge moment because it gives BLG a pressure valve way too late.
And they've got enough spears in there already. They are finally turning up. They're trying to jump onto Hope. I apologize, there are no spears. Hope's in danger. Come on! Tries to hop over the wall, fails the hop and dies. That's the pick off. They got the dragon secured. Hound's pursuit comes on forward. Tarzan tries to turn and deliver on the frozen domain. The petrifying gaze makes sure that Bin is traded back.
The big thing there is just that Trundle ultimate.
Tarzan is still going to get some more value. Can't quite get anything else. So they continue to hunt for more damage. Getting some shots down from this Ashe. Continuing to trade for more. Elk hopping on forward with that flat. Phase 1 eviscerating in as well. Needs to back away. Elk has got no flash already for the mid lane. Does take Trundle with him. Bailout's too late. Can't keep him back alive after he got the kill. Shanks flashes over the wall. That's a Flandre to flash out as well. That ends up being, I think, a 2 for 2.
3 for 2. You can see that Hope died at the start of the fight, so it's the 3 for 2, all things said and done. And this is the first time we come through around, let's say, 22 to 23 minutes. So track how we can do that with the next items coming through.
Shanks attempts to get charged on. We're about to get hit by that decimating smash. Teleport coming into his base, and also looking. Is the ult up? Yes, it is. So it doesn't pull the trigger on the petrifying gaze. Going to try and play for this turret. Tarzan around as well.
Yeah, Shanks using the move speed while Baytron on top side. Track out that Trundle up once that get pulled.
Hops over the wall, is safe enough, nearly interrupted by Tarzan. Nice idea, can't quite secure it.
Bin missing his ultimate onto BLG. You do not want to give that Infernal Soul over. Yes, you scale very well with the Smolder. Give up the mid lane turret because of that Herald going over. Smolder will stack up as best. Sion can't sit in the front line the way that he wants to. What Sion will have to do is go up into the fight and then ult backwards. But how do you do that into a Smolder pillar, into the Trundle pillar? Very hard to do.
I think that's a big one. And again, they've gotten to a very early soul point because they'd forced it. I remember Trundle was on that with bot lane at 5 minutes, about as early as you can go on the Dragons. And they're willing to give that one up. That will give another moment here for the Smolder to get towards that breakpoint. Knight gets a tower bot side. I'm not a fan of that, and neither, I think, are you.
No, I'm not. And now BLG, I think they make the right decision to not give the gold to the Sion. They give it to the Rise instead. Cassiopeia. And remember, if they get some, if they get a Cho'Gath in here, it's an easy secure.
And look to make this one down to half HP. On now, potentially in danger. Arrow lands on him. It's a handshock on the other side. Looking to turn off the Baron. Back they go down to 5,000 HP. Base one now coming on over. Sion goes on in onto Kyle, who will get Fates called out to safety. Hostile takeover allows some space for Bane to get in and try and steal it. Can't quite. Nice idea. Trundle secures the Baron. Fight afterwards commences as Kyle throwing down volley after volley after volley. As Knight overloads though and forces Kyle to retreat back. Doesn't quite die. Not quite enough damage to work on. That 1 minute until the Dragon. Base one eviscerates over the wall looking for the Dark Daggers. Reset from Kyle. But it means it's now 4v5 because the Ashe isn't here. Miasma comes on down. Trundle is on top of Bin. Trying to get the damage back as the Pale Left comes on down. Force the flash. And Renata's dead. Flash up from Tarzan. Who begins the job? He's the king of the jungle. And of the trolls as well. Rumble from Knight. We can't get in. The Miasma stops everything and he burns away.
The Trundle ult, the most important skill again. You must always pay attention to who is ulting, and BLG don't track that ult. And Sion can't determine the fight again. Tarzan, the game-changing Trundle play.
Can they end the game here? They've got 30 seconds. I think they can just keep parching through mid with the wave.
I think they can. Elk didn't ever get towards a 2-2-5 stack. Slow stacking on the Smolder means that BLG were not ready for that fight.
14 seconds on Elk, 20 on Knight. They need to try and hold the wave here. Arrow lands, it's onto Bin. Not the best target perhaps. Decimating smash, interrupted by the pillar. Nexus turret number 1 about to fall. There is a teleport on Knight as well. How much do they want to punish this? Elk up, has TP as well. Can look to potentially come in behind. Sion ults forward, is interrupted by the pillar. Wonderful from Tarzan.
Ben goes down, Shanks goes forwards, and Ben has no idea how to play against this Trundle, getting ulted in every fight. Pillars landing, Elk forced into a bad spot.
He's going to get run out the miasma and the petrifying blaze. It's not quite enough as the Bailout comes on through and finally die, and they just get to stand and keep fighting. It's a feral scream of triumph from Flandre. Knight in a 1v1 with the Trundle, and Tarzan just hits him over the head again and again and again. And anyone's legend with
on the Elise to make sure he can become actually a 2-item threat as well with the extra gold from that.
Facing a last pick, it is the Corki. Now, is that going mid?
He has that level 6 for the first play again. Galio is coming back from base, which does mean that he can fight on top river. There is a fight happening here right now, but watch out for that Galio if it comes through.
The hookshot can't quite land it, but Tarzan tries to buy some time. Public execution comes on through, but there's the hero's entrance. Tarzan flashing away. Been looking for a Q2, flashes out afterwards. Wonderful damage. He's got the honey fruit to keep himself topped up. How long does he have on the hook shot? Doesn't have the flash. There it is, and he gets to run away. Shanks no mana.
1 for none in the top side.
Back in the wrong direction. End up losing a little bit of a wave topside as a result, so actually evens up the gold lead there. So there is that. In the end, still fancy plays. The initial kill, that's good news there for BLG. And now rotate up to potentially contest for these grubs.
No Clamille ult, no Galio ult. That's a problem. Tarzan does have ult. Hope doesn't have his either just yet, but actually just leveled up. I don't know if BLG should be taking this fight.
And there's the paranoia, but the Impale comes on down. A lot of damage back. The Mega Inferno Bomb pretty unreliable. Kyle burning, but not quite dead.
He's not going to be able to stick around, though, and that's a problem. So now, even though AL have the ultimate advantage, I really do think BLG can play this now.
No paranoia, no Mega Inferno Bomb. They can look to turn around and go back. Alton did go looking for the pick onto Tarzan with a flash of his own early on in that play. Didn't quite get it. Claimed that second grub. 2 already. Happy enough. Another good arrow. Kyle down to no HP. Shanks trying to find Mangle. Public execution to the backside. On in danger. Been going for the edge. Into the wall. Needs to come back on down. Base 1 is low. They are beginning to turn this one around. A 1-for-1 right now. Flandre goes down. Wonderful from Base. Again as Elk tries. He's beginning to fire out all of the arrows everywhere. Shanks caught in the back of the pit and is shanked. Much like his namesake. Hope now in the back here as well. Got the flash. Will be forced to burn it. Can't stand and try and steal that one away.
They don't have the smites, but they won't need it. Wonderful fight from Elk on the Varus. Priority.
They have 3 grubs. They have gold on the Elise already. They want to feed, weirdly, their support, because if they get towards 1-2 items, they get a lot of value. Great Cocoon. Getting in fights like this helps.
And there's the Impale. Drags him actually ironically out of the hero's entrance, but towards the Varus. Tarzan hit with the Chains of Corruption late on that spell shield. Tried to turn it around. The paranoia should have been for himself, I feel. Kyle being body blocked, waiting on the TC timing. Driven into a wall and swiftly turned into roadkill.
4 kills for the Varus. More gold for BLG as a team. You even have, as we say, getting picked off time after time. BLG don't have to use the Camille ult for this one either. They'll have that for another play in the next few minutes if they do see another opening. And this is before BLG even get themselves into side lanes and use those 3 grubs. Potentially they can use that to buy some plates within. They can get trades here against Flandre. So you're saying really good at that Camille. Long history on the champion.
Upgraded partly already, Flandre. Where as he steps forward, Phase 1 trading out with Tarzan, preventing any easy public execution land. That's a great cocoon though, into the taunt. Death comes for Leona, into the Impale on the other side as it's matched by the unspeakable horror fear, but a flash, in comes the Hextech Ultimatum, public execution at the back end of this, makes it a 2-for-2, or 2v2 briefly, but Flandre now in danger as he tries to Sundering Slam his way out, but he can't cunning sway his way away from death. And Bin gets the hook shot away. Wonderful engage there from BLG on 2 sides of the map.
3 kills for none across the map.
Effectively from ahead. Play to place that knife between the ribs. And AL, sadly for them in this one, not able to win those early fights. It might come down, folks, to that 1v1 side select. Blue side winning all of our games. So game. Dragon started, AL not.
Died a couple times in those skirmishes and then dropped some waves, dropped some CS here, whereas the Galio certainly has not. This is actually the person with the most CS in the game, which is kind of wild on Galio. Dragon now secured as well. They're looking pretty good right now. Do BLG want to fight this? They are often known for forcing in these kinds of moments. Forces the flash. They're going to flash on board to the cocoon, and Kyle is gone. But in comes the turnaround. Elise smoked by the Mega Inferno Bomb. Dragged back in is Flandre by the Hextech Ultimatum. Knight in a 1v3 on the other side is largely winning out. Ends up being a 2-for-1 as they kill off Flandre and Kyle, even if finally On has stepped a little far on the spider.
On chose not to use the repel and instead takes an entire Ziggs central ult to the face. And that is the problem with the Elise. Yeah, very easy champion to kill. Knight did go into that 1v3 as we were saying beforehand. He actually wins these plays, by the way.
Oh my days.
What does he actually? Flashing out.
ulting away.
He gets out to safety.
Tarzan threatening that. I was a little worried there for a second that actually, you know, Knight, what a CS, what a might be not to send him around on Shanks. Good, had no flash. Maybe you just repel for safety. No, don't play it fast and loose. I'm still 1,000 gold ahead, as we were saying. The Blood Song and the Stalking Surge giving him some good value. BLG rolling across the skirmishes.
Hang on, driven into the wall, into the Impale. That's a lot of damage now coming back on topwards as the Chains of Corruption also land. And Hope is not springing anywhere but a grave. Nocturne to the backside, though. Just pick up Elk. Not bad work there. Shanks trying to run away, but a repel brings on top of Shanks, who backs him before the turnaround to come on through. Been just out of range of the public execution. Flash off formation. The upheaval lands on top of Leona. Tarzan now in danger, slowed up again by the Tremor Sense. And they're going to get some more Tremor Sense. That would be Rek'Sai passive, but either way, the Tremors from the Bastion, I believe it is.
Anyone's Legend do kill Elk this time. They get multiple people into the backline to kill the Varus for the first time. Just too little too late. On does use the repel this time, but he's in danger.
Ooh, not enough, though, as he gets the Storm Surge. Brock and knows his limits better than I do. Gets that one down, picks up another kill. 4 members for just the trade of Elk.
Almost 9,000 gold ahead now. Our BLG.
A nice way to potentially pick up someone at the back end of that play, and you could certainly look to do some more from them with all of that HP. But then he ends up in a 1v3, driven into the wall, and we're back into live as Paranoia has been blocked to no avail. Everyone's still alive, and Kelcom's gone down onto Kyle, who's now dragged miles away from his team. Mid lane, on lands another Cocoon, flashed away from Flandre, but they've still got a Hextech ultimatum, and Flandre will be asked to answer. Upheaval lands onto Flandre, and that means that Elk gets an easy arrow on top of him, driven into another wall. They just keep going. Mega Inferno Bomb comes on down, and Bin is chunked up briefly. Shielded around lands, or was attempted, but Hope is quick enough, waddling away on the Ziggs to get out to safety.
Yeah, the only negative thing for BLG, they've gotten such a big lead so early.
Wow.
They're getting a sweep for both objectives for them and their Snowball. Anyone's Legend, the story of this game has basically been they have been playing a similar composition to BLG, but they've been worse at it. I do think that BLG
Head over towards the dragon, if you saw a point, and at this point of the game, oh Kyle, you cannot be there, my friend. EA Precision Protocol Part 2, the Electric Boogaloo.
solo kill for Bin. Arrows not up in that game just before this, but not enough to cleanly win the series. We will very likely be going to game 5 now at this point. Flandre will have to get an objective bounty from topside.
1 and 6 on the Nocturne, 0 and 5 on the MS. And sometimes what happens in the dive comps, if your divers fall behind, they dive into hell multiple times. And you can scream for sweet liberty all you want. What you find is a bunch of bugs, robots, or other things there to crush you into the dirt. And that has happened on the Leona.
Shanks, my dude, that is too far up. That is a problem. He doesn't have flash.
He's just Valkyrie'd as well. Hello, look who was waiting in the wings. Hero's entrance. Shanks is so dead. Impale afterwards into the taunt, and they pick up the Nocturne as well. And that'll be your mid-jungle down for the count.
Very confident play from Beitran and Knight this game. Beitran ceremoniously kicked at the off-season due to poaching allegations. Wei coming back in again, and Beitran's caught this time. Does have flash. That doesn't feel like a great use of it.
I feel like he's quite tanky, and On's coming over. I don't know if you want this one, folks. Beitran gets to walk away, flash for the noxious bite, and they'll get some more damage. Try and get something more flash shielded around onto Hope, who doesn't necessarily go down a little bit far there from Hope, and actually does begin to throw a bit more damage back to Ziggs.
Teleport, there's a teleport going behind them. They're going to try and come back in with Shanks.
Knight's pretty low, Beitran's pretty low. Shanks hit by the upheaval, buys some time, can look for an angle here with the Valkyrie. Just try and get a big one, but there's enough of a shield there not to care as Elk now standing on forward. On goes in, up into the air with the repel, can come back on down, and has a little bit more venom in the fangs yet to get something more. Tarzan trying to trade out as he's also respawned, but now Shanks is caught in a potential 1 versus 4. They'll jump onto Tarzan. The spell shield comes on down, but there's an ultimatum, and it's fueled by Hextech. Into the river we go, where Shanks does at least get the Scorpion, which is better than nothing.
The smoke and mirrors, though, just doesn't work in their favor. The gold lead finally does kill the Elise quite hard, though. AL stacking him with this brush, and this is the right kind of Baron pit to get into the pit for free.
They don't know. Tarzan just revealed himself. Play this one now, looking to turn around, Bin into the backline, gets the Hextech ultimate on the Heroes, just comes on through the Hextech alternative. Also there, finding some value. Leona is eviscerated. They do kill off the Camille. Congratulations, but she bought all the time she needed. The Enforcer holds them to account.
Knight will shred through the bottom turret with so much AP and the Galio passive. This will be the end of the game. It was not close. Early skirmishes won by BLG win them games. And AL lost too early and couldn't fight back.
BLG with a lead, BLG without a lead is a very different beast than anyone's Legend. Left reeling in this one. We've had some very one-sided games this series. We're gonna get a game 5. We're gonna get Silver Scripts. We're gonna get the 1v1. We'll see which way the coin tumbles, which side it lands on next time, as we are going to that 5th and final deciding game.
Scrape your silver and roll up. Get CC.
The game.
On is a pretty good Milio. I do quite like him on some of those. Ironically, I do quite like him on those enchanters. He's quite an aggressive enchanter player. Finds a lot of value, and they will go towards that theoretically now. So he's shoving.
This might just be a pressure gank. I don't think they need to kill here. I think they just want to make sure that Hope and Kyle have to recall.
Ward over the wall, I think, was quite astute. They know this is coming. Kyle trying to stand between him and Hope, puts up the door, does get over the top of it. Hope flashes away. The barrier, trying to keep him alive, and he surely goes down. And a rocket jump out. Base one probably is traded, but importantly, it's the AD carry with both summoners who dies, and Elkanon stay in lane with their summoners up. Maokai will...
Knights. And of course, laning phase feels great up until you teleport back in. You realize, oh, that chunk which I got earlier actually means nothing, and now you have to deal with the bad end of that. Been almost doing that, bad trade. Hasn't recalled yet, though. We'll do that now and teleport back into the map.
I think Casante's picking up a wave under the turret, but that is
only one item and Hope here at this HP. There is an option now for BLG. Does Akali come over? Knight, you going to play for it?
Here comes the Nature's Grasp. Batron will Arctic Assault away. Double CC. Milio now in danger because he got caught by it. A flash twist in advance, and the Enchanter is down.
Renekton going in.
Oh, flash on forwards, gets the Ruthless Predator looking to cover me. Can't get that bigger heal. Needs to start backing away. Into the backline goes Knight, trying to buy some time. All out, they're going to get rid of the Jinx, but they lost his time on trade. Perfect execution does kill Carl! And the Winter Spike concussive blows combo brings down Knight as well.
BLG miscommunicate. On is not body blocked for. Bin flashes in when everyone else was going out, and
Different beast. TP in here could get interesting. Who is it? It's Flandre. Has all out, but no flash and no teleport. Bin initially starts up here, gets a decent chunk. Top side, they're trying to race for turrets. Remember, there's more grubs available for the side of BLG, but no one is contesting the top side wave. Elk eats a top shot.
And Flandre is just not dying. Bin pulls the ult and achieves very little with it. Batron doesn't have the ultimate now. Flandre, he's happy. He has 2 biscuits as well. He can keep regenning a little more. BLG lose the race towards that first turret.
Akali's having to trade out versus 2 mid lane as well. Tarzan's burned his ultimate. They're going to die by Flandre.
Jinx ult.
And in comes the Jinx ult, trying to get some value down. There goes the turret. The Jinx ult not enough. Buster Shot keeps Elk alive. Knight in the mid lane as well. Survived the gank from Tarzan in mid lane.
Yeah, he uses the ultimate, doesn't blow the flash. Hope getting a lot of gold here, though. Red notes. Not good terrain here for BLG. Tarzan will get this ultimate across the side of the fight and force them to body block again. The front to back favors AL.
Knight looking to be not on the flank, though. Gets on top of Hope. Throws down the Twilight Tribe, buying a lot of time. Hope gets to be staying alive for a second or two without goes looking on the back end. Knight misses! And now Elk is in so much danger as well as he jumped forwards and doesn't get it either.
Bin didn't get an angle onto the backline. Knight does hit his ultimate, but the heal from Kyle saves the last bit of the damage. And BLG take a front to back. They can't win.
Oh dear, it just doesn't work out. They went looking into it, but they can't find the engage, and now Hope gets to step on forward, staying alive. Permafrost onto Bin, and that's the end of that one. A mess from BLG in that one as they'll pick up everything.
Now, BLG, they've failed the first couple of fights of the game now. Their objectives are starting to fall away from them. This is how they've lost at the end. That does connect, but there's a heal and a barrier.
What he missed was the Shuriken flip, which is what I was calling out. He doesn't quite catch that one, and that means Hope gets to back away all the while. He was the only person there. And ends up not getting what he started for. There's Flandre on that Cassante. Just got to stand there and keep how many people away?
Which is why you can't take the front to fight. The Cassante, the front to back. The Maokai, the Cassante, the Braum, they're all too good at this. And now suddenly they get the Herald. They get to force the groups now with the Herald. Batron's going to walk over just to see the Herald hit the tower.
Well, that's now Beishwan hit with the Permafrost. Rocket comes on through and Beishwan survives.
Comp is almost leading to his death. I was wondering if that would be 100-0. Potential. They've used a lot of ultimates now, though.
Ben's going to knock on forward Glacier Fissure, but they've got the Permafrost on top of him. He just doesn't do anything. They have to flash away, and Hope gets another. In comes the Maokai ultimate. On will finally cleanse people away. Kyle's still with the door, and they just can't kill anyone.
BLG again, forced to taking the 5v5 front to back, and it's not working for them. You can't just press your keys and get away with it. Bin suffering from this.
Now going to be the prize of anyone's legend. The gold lead has gone from non-existent to very significant.
Dragon will be claimed by them, getting ahead in that objective game. BLG
a little bit against the wall there.
Flandre taking the honey fruit, so Elk can't go to that too. Elk, a couple of key missed plays from BLG's AD carry. Another player with inconsistencies. He must have ended up eating another Braum Q. Suddenly BLG, a fight which you could tell they were angling towards so heavily. There was this elixir brought by Knight, ruined by Elk getting chunked out. Huge mistake from the AD carry of BLG, who has been known to crumble in some of these more high-pressure scenarios for BLG. Right now, coming back in, has to regen, but his mistake has left them so behind in the macro.
Third of the Atakan health bar down already. On now here. Knight now here. Beijing eats half his HP bar as they're trying to jump onto Bin. Atakan still being taken. Zoned off. He can't do anything about it, and it is just taken for free, as you said.
All of this from Elk getting caught on mid lane. They worked so hard to get towards a play to contest the Dragon and the Atakan.
At least managed to get a little bit of shielding there from the Airy. Kyle will try to win despite Elk beyond the jumpers before they arm. I think that's probably why. There's this tier 1 in mid lane, TP behind. So this Stage 1 split off, needs to flash away over the wall. They're going to try and flash over the win despite the Glacier Prison buys a bit of time, but that's still going to be a Stage 1 caught in the middle of nowhere, and there's no defensive tools. Bin doesn't have a TP to come on over, and it leaves that Stage 1 out to dry.
Yeah, clean play. BLG overgreed towards that turret. Q3 missing from Flandre. Does that open something up? I don't think so.
Take that reactivation. Elk will hop forward, try and get an auto 2 down, especially because Baron's coming up. They need to get what damage they can down now.
So they do. Well, there's no Maokai ult now. On trying to tank up another sapling. But he's another Q. It's nasty for him.
No smite, remember, because it's Beijing, the one that died.
Tarzan, those saplings do so much work. On, you can't keep eating those skill shots. BLG just not dodging enough to get the HP to fight.
They can't see anything to dodge them either. It's so problematic. In they go to the backline. Bin in a 1 versus 5. Dies in a matter of seconds. Baron now in a 3v5. Got to be surely a foregone conclusion.
Too low HP, too many saplings, too many skill shots. AL play the slow game, and BLG fall on their own sword. Anyone's Legend claim the Baron. That will tide them over towards the soul point. Anyone's Legend, macro, strategy, draft, outdealing, outvaluing BLG in the series. Another revisiting for Bin onto what went wrong in this series. AL, very good team, but BLG, after the gameplay they showed, would have felt very confident about their chances in this series.
The irony, of course, is Bin got the MVP and the 2 wins they got. This is the 1v1 and things get tricky. Mid lane, Elk is just dead to rights. Another rocket comes on through. Beijing in danger. Knight on the backline running onto Chang, but just gets nothing done. Flandre there as well will go all out and drag the Sejuani away. Knight now split off from the team as well. He's going nowhere. A triple to Hope.
Hope blows up BLG, and BLG lost too much early gold. They lost the 1v1, and on their heads be it, AL break the base.
We'll get some more damage done. The Mega Inferno kick comes out through. Super Mega Flare kick, that's the one. Doesn't really matter at this point, does it? What can one lone Milio do against such reckless shoving? Try to buy some time, they put up a door. Bin slices a little bit, we'll get one for the turret as a courtesy there. Bin trying his best, but the Nexus turret fall, and Anyone's Legend will break the BLBG surge and show that they are truly the ones deserving of going to MSI. Lock themselves into their first international since their Rogue Warriors died.